It ain't when it is. You think it won't when it whiz. We are here and we are in motion. We do this thing, thinking all fast lane, no coasting, and everything is gonna be all right. We talking about not following your family health history tonight. Yeah, tonight we're gonna talk about trying to avoid your family history of health problems. Basically, trying to avoid your family history of health problems. This is going to be an interesting show because, a lot of times, this is a situation that we all have to face at some point in our lives, whether we want to or not. And we may all handle this thing, differently. But when you have to make those hard life decisions that we all have to make at some point in time, sometimes it requires a lot of thought, whether we actually put the thought into it or not. So tonight on the Daily Go Get 'Em show, we're going to talk about trying to avoid family-related illnesses. Family-related illnesses, those things that run in the family. That sugar diabetes, that sugar baby, that heart disease, that asthma. A lot of people think that cancer runs in families. They say cancer doesn't really run in families, but it just seems to happen that certain families seem to have a lot of family members that develop certain cancers or cancer as a whole. What you gonna tell somebody that's living that life? Well, we're gonna get into it and get involved. These puzzle pieces right now, we gonna solve, y'all. So are y'all ready? Because I'm ready. We ready? Let's get it popping. Carla, thanks for coming on through, y'all. Oakland, what up? Let's turn it up a little bit. Urban Therapy with Sun 752. When this your daily, it's the daily go get some show. You think it ain't when it is? You think it won't when it is? We are here and we are in motion. We do this thing, taking off fast lane, no coasting, and everything is gonna be all right. Trying to avoid family history, illness tonight. Yo. Mom died of heart disease. Dad had diabetes. Grandma was always sick. Never met granddaddy. What? Y'all know how it go. Last month lost my big bro. And everybody ain't living in order. Worried about my son and my daughter. Gotta do better somehow. Better stop the reckless living right now. Yo, hell with the greasy foods and all of the bullshit too. Reckless lifestyle, what? Had to turn down some butt. Everything that look good ain't good. There's something that must be understood. I'm glad that you came through. We can educate each other too. Shit is kind of wild, baby. Just had a child, maybe I can clean it up for them. Live a little better when the time is right, the time is now. There ain't no ifs, ands, maybe, and how. When you know better, do better. That's a lie. You do better when you do better. Sometimes you don't feel like it. Like a football touchdown and spike with that liquor be going down to the tummy. Make your head feel good and you say, homie, we gotta slow it down, getting older. Gotta wipe that shit dust right off of my shoulder. All the smoking and drinking, I'm thinking, and it's affecting my sexual performance. What the hell is going on with the things that I knew before? I've been thinking about how I lost my boy. He's up in heaven looking down. All my family members up there with him looking round. We gotta do better, start today. Get on your knees when I start to pray. I don't know when my last day is coming, but August 12th, my birthday, I'm trying to be one with nature and God and universe. So I kick these rhymes, trying to drop another verse. I don't rehearse, it's coming right straight off the head. I'm trying to live my life to the fullest, make my mark before I'm dead. Yo. And I hope it don't come soon. I lost my best friend at 55. I'll be 55 soon. So that shit plays my mind and I be thinking about it. He didn't share my bloodline, but I'm thinking out with that old shit that I used to do all the time. It's time to get better on my shit. Let the sun shine. All right, y'all. So y'all get what you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. We're going to talk about whether people consciously try to take a better path with their health than their parents did, than their grandparents did, aunts, uncles, and cousins. Y'all know how hard, those of y'all who've been through this, y'all know how hard it is when you coming up and your aunts and your uncles, your elders that you came up with, that meant so much to you. Each one of them had all these different, they had different personalities, which all influenced you. You know how hard it is when your mom and your dad's generation start breaking off. Hopefully your mom and your dad don't go first, but you start losing aunts and uncles. Next thing you know, then it starts getting into your generation. Well, first you lose your grandparents. Sometimes your grandparents outlive your parents. I've seen it happen. I've seen grandparents outlive parents and cousins. Crazy shit. Cause hey, the luck of the draw. Like, it would be so easy for you, if it was like, well, my parents lived a long time, so I'm guaranteed to live a long time. Guess what? No, you're not. No, you're not. Anything can happen, but you know how hard it is when you watching your people when you watching your family size start to dwindle down. Those family reunions ain't like they used to be. All right, we're gonna get this hardware out of the way. And then we're gonna have this conversation. Now listen, this ain't about no sad shit. This not about no sad shit, but this is about some real shit. Cause I'll be wondering shit. I do. I'll be wondering shit like, how is it if your parents smoke cigarettes and they got lung cancer? Oh shit. God damn. Every night? Every night, Troy? What the hell? Every night? Like he said, I'm gonna get it popping early tonight. Like we trolling Troy early tonight. Early. What the hell? He gonna be back with another account. Because that's what these cats do. You need a better life. Yeah. Just because you see Troy's name, you can't assume that that's the real Troy. You can't assume that that's the real Troy. But like I said, man, I'm not trying to have no sad show tonight. But, you know, when people pass on, we are still left here in this world and on this earth to handle the business at hand. So we still have to do our best to make sure that we keep ourselves alive and in good health, and the people that we love, we try to inspire them to do the same thing. And you know, it's a job. It's not sweet like that. It's not sweet like that. Why are y'all saying hi to Troy? Y'all know Troy don't be spamming. Y'all wildin'. The real Troy will let you know that is him. He has a way of doing it. Yeah, the spam Troy is going to make, I don't know, he just going to cut and paste. But yeah, man, you know, like, if you had parents that smoked a lot, drank heavily and all of that kind of shit, and you see the toll that it took on them later on when the smoking and drinking really started to take shape and started to claim their health, right? See, you know, I think it's interesting when I hear people say about smoking or drinking heavily. They say everybody got a vice, or, you know, you got to die of something. Nobody lives forever. And that's true. But if you've ever watched a person suffer from alcoholism, if you've ever seen a person suffer from lung cancer or any cancer, you know, people don't be saying fuck cancer for nothing. They be saying that shit because it's so heartbreaking to watch somebody die from cancer. You watch them in all of that pain, or if they going through chemo or radiation and all of that, and tired and losing mad crazy weight and losing their hair and they just so sick all the time. Some people make it back, go into remission or whatever, and get it together, but not everybody. What up, Jeff Sprayberry? What's good, man? Thanks for coming through. I appreciate you. So if you've ever watched somebody die of cancer, die of AIDS, die of any type of illness that slowly, like a disease that slowly takes your life, even diabetes, you know how, come on, man. Diabetes ain't nothing to play with. And we be playing with it. And doctors are playing with it now. Now everybody get a chance to have diabetes, it seems like. Am I lying? It seems like everybody gets a chance to have either diabetes or cancer somewhere in their lives. You got 80 and 90-year-old people all of a sudden coming up with cancer. You like now? Yeah. getting that insurance out of there. But I don't want to get political about it. But on some real shit, have you ever watched somebody suffer from diabetes and can't get it under control? The blindness, losing a leg, foot, whatever limb is just useless to them now. You see that shit. If that don't put some red flags and encourage you to improve your behavior or stop doing certain things, or at least say, listen, I ain't gonna let that happen to me. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Seriously. It's real shit. But I've seen people ignore all of that. Like, it happened to them. It don't mean it's going to happen to me. Jeff says diabetes killed my dad and my brother following right. And my brother is following right in his footsteps. And the thing about it is, diabetes is about your diet. It's about your diet. You can stop diabetes in its tracks, especially if you know that you have the trait, if you know that you have the symptoms, if you have already been diagnosed. You can stop diabetes. You can stop heart disease. But especially diabetes, because diabetes has so much to do with your diet. It has so much to do with what you eat. Yeah, I understand you like sweets, but you can't have them. And there are some safer sweets that, as long as you don't overindulge in them, you can still have them. But it seems like some people have the type of relationship with food that they just don't want to let it go. And we're going to talk about, well, let me put it this way. I think that we need to talk about other diseases or other conditions that run in health conditions that run in families that we don't always take a strong look at, that we're also not powerless to, but they may not be looked at as diseases, but they are in its pure form. Like, disease means dis-ease, means that you're not okay. You're not at ease. At ease means that you're relaxed. At ease means that you're satisfactory. At ease means that you're in good shape, good condition. Dis-ease means you cannot get comfortable. It means that you are sick. It means that you are withering away. It means that you are in a medical state or an emergent state. Jeff says, and leave those sodas alone. Man, you ain't never. Soda has so much sugar. So much sugar. I eat a lot of fruit, which actually means that I eat a lot of sugar. It's true. And sometimes people fool themselves into believing that, as long as it's fruit, I can eat all I want. No, you can't. A doctor will tell you what foods you can't eat. As a matter of fact, let's look up fruits that are safe for diabetics. Let's look it up. What fruits are safe for diabetics to eat? Okay. Diabetics can safely consume a variety of fruits, including apples, berries like blueberries, raspberries, and strawberries, citrus fruits like oranges and grapefruits, and cherries. Cherries? I'm surprised about that. High fiber fruits, pears, kiwi, and avocados. Other safe fruits, plums, grapes, and nectarines. I'm surprised they said grapes, because I've heard that grapes have a higher sugar, natural sugar content, and they can really mess with your diabetes. And of course, it probably has a lot to do with how far along in your diabetic state that you are. So it says tips for safe fruit consumption. Choose fresh or frozen fruits over processed ones, like the ones in the cans and shit like that. Limit portions to avoid excessive sugar intake. Pair fruits in protein or healthy fats to slow down blood sugar spikes. Consult with a healthcare professional for personalized dietary recommendations. So, yeah, all in all, even the fruits that may be high in sugar content are probably going to be better for you than, let's say, candy or anything that's sweetened with like high fructose corn syrup. That shit should be outlawed. It should be outlawed. Bring back regular cane sugar. Even regular cane sugar is not good for you. You're really supposed to eat the brown sugar, which is actually sweeter, but it's more expensive. What up, Mel? What up, Mel? Says, just drink zero sugar. I hope that's not isn't there a soda that's called zero sugar? Because the sugar substitute is worse than the sugar. And that's the crazy part. Any of that shit that's made in a lab, artificial sweeteners and all of that, Diet Coke is worse than Coke. Diet Coke is worse than regular Coke. Man, that shit is gonna kill you. Oakland says, I feel like that's worse because they put fake shit in zero sugar. Yeah, word. Jeff Sprayberry says, my weakness is Starburst. All things in moderation. All things in moderation. See, that's the problem with sugar. Sugar is very addictive. Sugar is crazy addictive. It is. Sugar is crazy addictive. And that high fructose corn syrup is like crack. That's how addictive that sugar is. That shit is like crack. And coincidentally, crackheads used to like to eat a lot of sugar because it kind of, when they ran out of money for the crack, it kind of helped to keep it going. Kind of helped to keep the high going, which is very unhealthy. Jeff says, I remember growing up and my grandma always having Tab in the fridge. Oh, yeah, Tab, that diet soda. Wasn't that like Diet Coke? Well, Diet Cola with Tab. I remember that shit. Tab. Damn, you took it back. You took it way back. Tab. Hold on. What the hell was Tab? Tab soda. Yeah, it was made by Coke. Tab, a product of Coca-Cola. Tab was a Diet Cola soft drink produced and distributed by the Coca-Cola Company, introduced in 1963 and discontinued in 2020. The company's first drink, the company's first diet drink. Tab! What the hell? Oh man, Oakland says, had a starburst when I was 12. Shit was hard to chew. It depends. He says, I'm glad growing up I never drank Mountain Dew. Man, I know people who drink Mountain Dew. But they drink it for the caffeine. And that shit will have you bouncing off the wall. It has a lot of caffeine in it. And that caffeine shit ain't good. So you got a high sugar intake and that high in caffeine. What are the hazards of caffeine? I can never remember offhand. What are the health hazards of too much caffeine intake? Okay. Excessive caffeine intake can lead to several health issues, including anxiety, insomnia, increased heart rate, and digestive problems. In more severe cases, it can cause seizures and heart rhythm problems. Caffeine can also exacerbate existing health conditions like anxiety disorders and heart problems. You kind of said the same thing. All right. Digestive withdrawal symptoms. Abruptly stopping caffeine intake can lead to withdrawal symptoms like headaches, fatigue, and irritability. Other effects, excessive caffeine consumption can also cause muscle tremors, dizziness, increased urination, and dehydration. All right. Yeah. And a lot of energy drinks usually just have a lot of caffeine in them. By the way, most of those energy drinks are ass. Most of them are terrible. But what I want to really talk about tonight is I want to talk about our parents. I want to talk about our grandparents. I want to talk about our families and the impact that their poor health has had on us. Let me start off by saying this. Any and everybody who has lost a parent or their parents, I want to, say condolences to you. And hopefully, this conversation doesn't trigger any sadness or despair on your behalf. But like I said, we have to live on, and we have to do better for ourselves, and we have to do better for our children. Cheryl Halsey says, sister-in-law has diabetes. She is very small, but eats cakes and cookies. Cakes and cookies. The good stuff. Yeah. So if you've lost a parent to whatever disease, and you kind of know what the cause of this disease was. Like if you lost a parent because of hepatitis or cirrhosis of the liver disease, kidney disease, heart attack, or other cardiovascular problems or whatever. Now, if it was a sudden death, that may be one thing. But if it was an illness that they rode out for a while and you watch them deteriorate over time, I'm trying to figure out how that doesn't register in your brain that we need to make changes. We need to make changes. My dad passed in 2021. And he died from prostate cancer. Now, this is a hell of a story. Oh, you said you don't care? Fresh memes? I don't care about you either. But I'm going to tell my story, and fuck you. So, my dad passed in 2021 from prostate cancer. Now, anybody who knows anything about prostate cancer, you know that that's one of the more workable cancers that you can have. You can definitely recover and beat prostate cancer as long as you catch it before it starts to metastasize, before it starts to spread, before it really gets out of hand. So, so the reason why my dad died of prostate cancer is because honestly, he let himself die. A lot of the people who have, a lot of men who have prostate cancer, because only men have a prostate. And you get symptoms for prostate problems. Like if you have a swollen prostate, you may not be able to pee. First, you may have like crazy frequent urination, and then it may start to get less and less frequent to the point where you go to the bathroom and you can't pee. So you really gotta pee and you can't pee. So now you in the emergency room. Some go to the emergency room and some, I don't know what they do. But my dad let it go. And one of the ways that they treat prostate cancer is they perform surgery. Now, the side effect of the surgery for the prostate is that you lose your sexual ability. So you won't be fucking, not naturally. You know what I mean? Your dick is going to suffer. It's going to suffer a loss. You will only be using your penis for peeing after prostate cancer. But men have gone and, got the pump or whatever. So if you are married and you're still married to a woman who still has sexual desires, you can still please her and whatever. But my dad didn't want to do that. He didn't want to. I mean, honestly, and I'm only telling you this because he actually told me this. He didn't want to stop fucking. So it was like, if I can't have sex, I don't want to live. And I'm thinking like, I'm trying to grasp onto that mentality. Like, I couldn't imagine sex being that important. I mean, I like to fuck as much as any man does. But if it's going to take my life, I'm cool. That would be like, because to me, saying that I don't want to get prostate cancer surgery to remove my prostate because I won't have sex, I don't want to stop having sex. That's almost like saying, the only reason I don't want to get AIDS is because I wouldn't be able to have sex anymore. And maybe I'm wrong for making that connection, but that's the way I was looking at it. Hold on. All right, let me get this dickhead out of here. I tried to let him live, but you know what I mean? Fuck this motherfucker. All right, let me get him up out of here. Let him go. You gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta go. All right. What up, Sammy? What's good? Thanks for coming through. Appreciate you. I appreciate you. But yeah, so my dad told me that for 35 years, he knew that he had prostate issues. Now, I'm telling y'all that because that means for 35 years or more, he could have taken care of this problem. As a matter of fact, he died at age 84. So 35 years would have put him in his 40s. He said it was longer than that. It was longer than that he had started showing symptoms of that. My dad had his last child when he was 60 years old. So evidently the plumbing was working. So I think to myself, would I make a decision like that? And the answer is no. There's no way I would make a decision like that. Like sex over health or life or whatever. And the crazy part about it is when my dad was alive, he looked like one of the healthiest men at any age that he was all the time. But you never know what's going on inside the body. So I'm saying all of this to say that, just like I have to make a decision about what my fate could be based on my family history. Now, I never knew my biological grandfather, but I did know the man who I knew as being my grandfather growing up. That, come to find out, that wasn't my dad's real, I don't want to say real. That wasn't his biological father, but that was the only man that he knew as being his dad. And they actually looked alike. That was the crazy part. They favored each other and everything. It's just that my dad was light and my granddad was dark. but they, they favored each other. It's crazy. Sammy says maybe he didn't have the means to do it. No, my dad had money. No, he had money. My dad was a businessman, a very good one. He had the money. He could have taken care of it. And like I told you, oh, maybe you weren't here. My dad told me why he didn't want to get the surgery. He literally told me, I'm not going to stop fucking. I'm not doing that. He watched my uncle, my biological uncle, and my uncle by marriage both get the prostate surgery. He said they can do it if they want to do it. I'm not doing that. Okay, cool. So he made a decision. He made a decision on his life. So he lived, I got to give it to him. He lived the way that he wanted to live. The thing is, the question is, you may live the way that you want to live, but are you going to die the way that you want to die? Because I don't think any of us would probably choose to die a long, painful death. Or maybe we don't look at it that way. I've heard people say, I would rather die in my sleep. Well, sick people die in their sleep. Just saying. They do. So, in a way, he did die the way he wanted to die because he said, I'm not going to radiation anymore. This shit is not working. It's time to just let it go. He said, you know what I mean? I put my time in this world. Now it's time to go. For people who love you, that's not no easy shit to hear. But anyway, so if you lose a family member and don't take a look at what led up to them leaving or them, whatever, what led up to you losing them, because it's not always a disease or illness that kills people. It can be a lifestyle. So just like diabetes can run in your family, sickle cell can run in your family, mental illness can run in your family, alcoholism can run in your family, obesity can run in your family. We don't always think about obesity. I know, like I know families who suffer from obesity. Everybody in the family fat, and they have those health problems related to their obesity. And it seems like nobody in the family is doing anything to break the cycle. It's a generational curse, and everybody is just succumbing to it. So, those dinners, those Sunday dinners, holiday dinners, cookouts and all of that be all that. But guess what else be all that? Those funerals be all that. Those waiting rooms in the waiting rooms in the hospitals be all of that. What are we going to do if you come from a family where everybody is overweight? Are you gonna say to yourself, well, that's just the way we are built, but we still cute? Or are you gonna say, nah, I ain't gotta necessarily be skinny, but I don't have to be dangerously overweight or morbidly obese. It's a choice that you can make for yourself. Oh, Jeff, thanks for coming through. Appreciate you, my dude. Sorry about your pops. I gotta head out. Good night to all. Peace and love and respect always, without a doubt, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, sir. But yeah, you don't have to follow the same path that your ancestors followed, or the path that they laid. You don't have to. But sometimes it seems like we look at it like we're powerless over over our fate. And we're not. We're not powerless over anything. We're not powerless over anything that we seriously want to do. The things that we the things that we have a lot of passion for, we go for them. But when I say lifestyle, your lifestyle can be worse than a disease itself. Who knows which one of y'all that are on tonight, which one of y'all know families where everybody is gangster? Everybody's like a gangster. Everybody's in them streets. Dangerous lifestyles, just as bad as having a disease. If you grow up with the parents, aunts, uncles, cousins, brothers, and sisters that are all out there in the streets, all scrambling, all selling drugs, all, hurting people, stealing shit, running into problems with the law, going back and forth to court and to jail. That's a generational curse. We think about not graduating high school like is a generational curse, and it is. But how about not being able to avoid prison? And I know families where all the men in the family have seen prison at some point or another. That shit's crazy. But do we look at that? Do we look at that as being passed down from one generation to the next? Oh, what the fuck, Bobby? What the fuck? What we doing, sir? What we doing, sir? Oh my God, it's gonna be one of them nights. What the fuck? What are we doing? What are we doing tonight? We're gonna make the best of it though. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, this is the Daily Go Getism Show. I'm your host, Sun752, aka Omar with the rrr. I'm feeling like a real man should, and I hope y'all feeling like real men and women should also. And we are talking about trying to avoid family illnesses. Sheesh. Family-related illnesses. Okay. But yeah, I've known families where all of them was in the streets. That's worse than a disease. You bringing the kids up not to be honest, not to keep their hands to themselves, not to respect other people's property and their own. You teaching them the exact opposite. What do you think? What do you think is going to happen? How do you think that's going to turn out? Oakley, you worse than the troll Troys. You know what I mean? If and when Troy show up, let him just do that. You know what I'm saying? Let's just you gonna turn on the green light for the troll Troys to be like, oh, you need a Troy? I got a Troy. You need a Troy? I got a Troy. Yeah. But yeah, obesity, gangster shit. You said, I don't know. He always calls in. But like I said, when he come, he'll be coming around the mountain. When he comes, he'll be calling on the telephone when he comes. Show Halsey says, my dad died from prostate cancer, got in his bones, left screaming. Cancer is painful, man. It is. And it's not easy watching somebody that you care about be in that kind of pain, because we don't even know what that pain feels like. We know what it's like to have a bad headache. We know what it's like to have a bad stomach ache. We know what it's like to break a bone, but we don't know what it's like to have a disease that's killing you from the inside. We don't know what that feels like, and hopefully we never find out. But cancer patients find that shit out. And you're watching that. You're probably watching it with compassion, but we should also be watching it like, yo, we not going to do this. We not going to do this with ours. We not doing that. We can do better. And we can if we're serious about it, and if we take a hard look at exactly how this shit went down. If your parents whatever smoked 2 packs a day and were in denial that cigarettes cause cancer, because I mean the honest fact is not everybody who chain smokes cigarettes gets lung cancer. It's amazing. Some people beat it. Some people don't get it. A lot of people do. Even the Marlboro Man died of lung cancer. The Marlboro Man. Remember well, some of y'all may not be old enough to remember the Marlboro Man, but I know that Cheryl Halsey, I know you remember the Marlboro Man. Carla, I know that you remember the Marlboro Man. There was a time when they used to advertise cigarettes. They stopped doing it. They stopped doing it. And they used to have the little Surgeon General's warning on the cigarettes. And all it said was smoking cigarettes may be hazardous to your health. Maybe hazardous to, what do you mean it may be hazardous to your health? And that's supposed to be a real warning? How about it should have said, yeah, smoking cigarettes has been proven to lead to lung cancer, emphysema, COPD, heart disease, and a horrible, painful, long, drawn-out death. Death from cancer is long and is drawn out, and it also makes your life short. At the same time, it's almost like a fucking metaphor. It kills your loved ones faster than you would have ever wished for, but at the same time, it draws out, it drags out. Because if they go to the hospital and they enter treatments and stuff like that, and then it seems like they're going to get a little better, maybe they go through remission, maybe they don't. If they go, sometimes people go into remission and then the cancer comes back. Sometimes they're able to fight it. Sometimes they're not, because it can get into your bones the second time around. And once cancer gets into your bones, it's over. It's over like Rover. They be trying and they be saying, well, we're going to try this. And, there are different breakthroughs, and some people have been able to blah, blah, blah. And I heard about a case of, nah, man, once that shit get into your blood, the blood in your bones, that shit it's a rat. It's a rat. Yeah, y'all remember the Marlboro Man? The Marlboro Man himself died of lung cancer. Well, I mean, like, what the fuck? Now I'm wondering, like, was he even a real cowboy? Let's see what happened to the Marlboro Man. What happened to the Marlboro Man? Okay, the Marlboro Man is not a single person, but rather a series of actors who portrayed a rugged cowboy persona in Marlboro cigarette advertisements. Several of these actors who were smokers later died from smoking-related diseases. One of the most well-known, Bob Norris, was actually a rancher who never smoked and stopped being the Marlboro Man because he didn't want to set a bad example for his children. Wow. Iconic image. The Marlboro Man campaign, launched in the 1950s, aimed to reposition Marlboro as a masculine brand, associating it with the ruggedness of the American West. I didn't know they had different Marlboro men. I didn't know that. Did y'all know that? I didn't know that. Several actors who portrayed the Marlboro Man died from smoking-related diseases. Eric Lawson, who appeared in print ads from 1978 to 1981, died of respiratory failure due to chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, aka COPD. Wayne McLaren, who also appeared in Marlboro print ads, died of lung cancer. David McLean, who appeared in both print and television ads, also died of lung cancer. Marlboro cigarettes cause lung cancer. And guess what the most popular brand of American cigarettes are overseas? Come on. Marlboros. If you go to Europe, you go to the Middle East, you go to Africa, you go Asia, anywhere around the world. You got a pack of Marlboros, it's like you got a brick of Coke. It's like you got a key of Coke. They will pay top dollar for some Marlboro cigarettes. All that Newport shit that black people smoke in this country and all that shit on. They don't want no Newports. They don't want no Winstons. They don't want no Camels. They don't want none of that other shit. They want Marlboro cigarettes because they are American made and known to be strong as shit. And they are like the creme de la creme of cigarettes. So if you ever go overseas, if you could smuggle some packs of Marlboro cigarettes in your bag, you can go over there and get paid. And they will pay anything. Yeah, Marlboro cigarettes. But evidently, Marlboro cigarettes will fuck you up. Fuck you up proper, baby. Will do you in. So, along with our family, sometimes setting a bad example for us health-wise, as you can see, there have been times when the advertising companies and really the American Medical Association of the United States has let us down. Because they know the health risks of all of the products that we use out here, whether we consume them or whether we use them in some type of way. Because you inhale cigarettes, I don't think that's considered ingesting it, right? What up, Wes? What's good? Thanks for coming through, my dude. Appreciate you. Appreciate you mucho. Yes, I don't think it's considered ingesting, but you are inhaling it. And inhaling it will... Shout out to all my weed smokers thinking that as long as they don't smoke cigarettes, they can smoke as much weed as they want to. Shout out to all my weed heads that think that as long as they don't smoke cigarettes, they can smoke all the weed that they want to. Smoking weed all the time can rain hell on your bank account. It can mess up your bottom line real good. Yeah. But I've had friends and I've known people who parents smoked, chain smoked. I'm talking about cigarettes again. And basically died from smoking cigarettes, regardless of whether it was cardiovascular disease or lung cancer, which is a cardiovascular condition. Lungs, cardiovascular, heart, pulmonary, coronary. but respiratory. I've known people who had parents who died of, from smoking cigarettes, and they smoke cigarettes. They still smoke cigarettes themselves. And we like, well, are you worried that your parents are that you're gonna wind up like your parents? And I've gotten some interesting answers. Some didn't believe that cigarettes really cause lung cancer, or whatever. Just didn't believe it. I thought maybe when they said that shit to me, I thought they were just in denial, or they were just basically telling me to get out of their face and stay out of their business. And I would rather you just say that, but don't tell me that you don't believe that there's a connection between cigarettes and lung cancer or whatever. Let's not do that. Are we doing that? We doing that, homie? Come on, man. But yeah. Same thing with diabetes. I've known friends and family members, because there's a section of my dad's side of the family that suffer from diabetes bad. Grandparents on down to the parents, on down to the children. Unfortunately, in 2020, I lost my cousin, a real good cousin of mine. He passed in 2020, and I thought he passed from COVID. Wasn't COVID. Diabetes. He had been, suffering from it for a while. Wasn't really doing the right things about it from what I was told. And it took his life. I grew up with this cousin. He was older than me, but I grew up with him. And it's like, he was a good guy. There's no reason he shouldn't be here anymore. But we don't decide who lives and who dies. Well, not all the time. You know what I mean. Please, nobody take a life tonight. Not anybody else's, not your own, none of that. But yeah, man, what decisions are we going to make for ourselves that our parents didn't make? And you're not dishonoring your parents because you're being honest about your feelings about their behavior. What up, Joe Nell? Or is that Neil? Is that Neil? Yeah. What up, Joe Neil? Joshua Bennett. Thanks for coming through. Appreciate you. You said looking swole tonight. It's the shirt. But thanks. Okay. Got a call on the line. All right.
You have a call from.
Caller with the last numbers 9843. Welcome to the Daily Go Getimism Show. Thank you for calling in. What's on your mind tonight?
Hey, hi everybody in the chat. This is me. This is Cheryl.
Hey.
We're talking about lung cancer. I don't know how people can say that does not take you down, and it takes you down quick. There was a family at church, and about 4 families, they smoked, and they got lung cancer, and also had a girlfriend. She died from lung cancer in what was it? 2016. But I don't understand how she done it. She had caught pneumonia and one of her lungs collapsed. But she had been going to the doctor and they never told her that she had lung cancer until it was too late. After she told me that she had lung cancer, she was gone in 2 weeks. I went and spent the night with her at the hospital and stuff. You know, we all did. Yeah. But yeah, lung cancer and smoking does, you know, cause lung cancer. And what I don't understand, though, son, I don't understand. I can't stand them why they can't stop making. I don't know how to say it. Why is it not taken off the market? I just don't understand. I don't.
Cigarettes, you mean?
I truly don't. Yeah, cigarettes.
Because I'll tell you why. Because it makes a lot of money.
Yeah, well, I know that much. It makes the money, but god dang. Well, yeah. If you look at it, money as opposed to a person's life don't mean nothing.
They will throw our lives away. They don't care as long as the money is being made. The whole pharmaceutical, the tobacco companies have long known that smoking cigarettes causes cancer and all kinds of respiratory and pulmonary diseases. They knew that,
right?
And but they were like, since everybody didn't get it, they kind of swept it under the rug. That was their justification. So it was sort of like luck of the draw. You might and you might not. But there were so many. There were so many. You know, before this whole fentanyl thing came out, before fentanyl, the biggest killer of, as far as drugs are concerned, was cigarettes. $500,000 a year. $500,000. 500,000.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and like you say, you know, I always knew it was money in my mind, but I was like, I know they got to find some kind of way to turn that over, you know. But yeah, no, there is a lot of people, and I thank God because my husband smoked, you know. But after he had, you know, got sick, he couldn't smoke no more. Because, I mean, we used to get into it about that. Because that cigarette smoke, well, one of my children has asthma.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would be telling him, you know, okay, but he would walk and he would, you know, he'd walk around, 2 miles a day. Because he smoked, you know, and he would walk up to the BART station, back, because he couldn't drive no more because of the aneurysm in the brain. And after the brain surgery, the hospital notified DMV and told them that his license should be took. And they took his license, you know. And so he did abide by it, though, because I was like, no, him, you know, because I'm not going to ride with you if you're going to drive. I'll drive, you know. But anyway, yeah. But I just, you know, I was just sitting here thinking about, you know, I was thinking about the Glenn family at church. And it was Sister Glenn, you know, 2 of her brothers, 2 of her sisters, and they all died of lung cancer, and they all smoked. Now, that's just people in the church, you know. And like I said, I had a girlfriend, you know, 60. She found out, and 2 months later she was gone. Yeah. But you know, the thing about it, she didn't suffer, and you know, she didn't suffer like Sister Glenn did. Yeah. She didn't suffer at all. Yeah. No. But my point, I couldn't understand why they didn't tell her she had lung cancer. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was crazy. Because when she caught pneumonia, when she was on the oxygen tank, I would sit there and be kicking it with her. She'd take her oxygen off, just like my cousin would. take her the oxygen off, and sit it outside so she could smoke.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Yeah, I've
I
seen that.
mean,
I've seen that happen. Yeah.
and I'm like I would tell my cousin Carol, I was like, girl, take you just, but she just couldn't. And, they say that cigarette smoking is just as bad as drugs, if not harder, to get rid of. Yeah. So for some people, I guess it is, you know. But no, I just want to say that little bit. But it just, it bothers me, and I think about it. But again, like I said, I'm so thankful that my boy, they used to smoke, but they put it down. No, they put it down. And I'm so thankful. Well, hardly no one, my side nor his side smokes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thankful for that. I just wish other people would get wise enough to try. But it's hard. It is a hard thing. Henry started smoking at 13. Yeah. So it's a hard thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
But you would think, now, mind you, when he had 3 brain surgeries. Okay, now I lived in Kaiser with him for 30 days after he had his brain surgery. And I'm thinking the cigarette smoking is gone. He hasn't had a cigarette in 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
But then as soon as he got out of the hospital the first time, he jumped in they bought 2 cars. He jumped in one car and drove straight to the store. And the kids was all in it, Mama, why you let him do that? I can't do nothing to that. He's 6'1", the heavy build, But I'm like, he drove straight to the store, got some cigarettes, and drove us straight home. Mm-hmm. So at any rate, I just thought I'd share that. But it's just horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
I appreciate you calling in. Thanks for sharing.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye to everybody. Love y'all.
All right. Love you
Bye-bye.
too. Have a good night.
You too.
So yeah, man, I don't know. When you watch your parents, if you've ever lost a parent, I don't see how watching your parents die doesn't have the effect of you investigating what took them out. Now, don't get me wrong, because some people have rationalized that what really killed their parents was hospital, not misconduct, what they call that shit, malpractice. Like if they would have, if the hospital would have done this, or if the doctors would have done that, then my mom, my dad, or my uncle, my aunt, my grandmother, grandfather, whatever, would still be here. But they was either sick or they wasn't. So at some point, I'm thinking that we probably have to start taking a hard look at what the root of the problem was. Because for ourselves, I'm not willing to gamble on how hospitals are going to handle me and mine. Like, I don't want to take my chances in the hospital. I work in a hospital. I know I see things. I know how it go. So I'm like, I don't want to be in none of them beds. And you really realize, man, health professionals and all of that, it's a job to them. And I ain't even mad at them because it's not an easy job. But at the end of the day, they don't give a fuck about you. They give a fuck about you as far as you being a client. I'm not saying that they don't like you, but they don't give a fuck about you. They're actually trained to not give a fuck about you. Show compassion, but not connection. Kind of goes against the Hippocratic oath, but it's true. But the question that you have to ask yourself is, do you care about you? If If you were out with your friends and there was an active shooter out there, and you saw that everybody who ran towards or past this guy, he shot each and every one of them. Would you run past the guy too, unarmed? It sounds ridiculous. It's a stupid question, right? Okay, so what's the difference between seeing that this active shooter will shoot you if he gets you into his sights? So avoiding getting into his sights or his field of vision. What's the difference between avoiding getting into the sights of an active shooter and getting out of harm's way with your health? What's the difference? We really have to start taking a look at what the difference may be, because the way we're living is not indicative of somebody who really wants to live. If you see your parents, I mean, like I was saying earlier in the show, I've heard people say that cancer runs in their family. Medically, cancer can't run in families. Like in order to say something actually runs in your family, it kind of has to have like a bloodline to it. What up, Ashton? Thanks for coming through. Appreciate you. And right, go Birds. But yeah, so like if a cancer patient gets pregnant and gives birth to a baby, the baby won't be born with cancer. It doesn't work that way. So they're saying that hereditary conditions and diseases are ones that you can actually be born with. Heart disease is something that a child can be born with. Sickle cell anemia is something that a child can actually be born with. Mental illness is something that a child can actually be born with. Down syndrome. It's a genetic disorder. But the thing is, your parents don't have to have Down syndrome in order for you to be born with Down syndrome. But it's on the list. But did I say diabetes? Diabetes, you can definitely be born with that. So, cancer has a lot to do with your lifestyle as well. Even though it's a little harder to accept for a lot of people. We talk about bringing back American jobs and stuff like that. Well, a lot of American jobs, manual labor that we used to do, used to cause some really bad health problems. Working in a coal mine or any other mine. Let's look it up. What conditions did coal miners used to come down with? Okay. Coal miners, particularly in historical context, with inadequate safety measures, were exposed to hazardous conditions that led to a variety of debilitating and often fatal diseases. Coal workers, pneumoconiosis. Is that just like pneumonia? Pneumoconiosis, commonly known as black lung disease, caused by the inhalation of coal dust over prolonged periods, leading to inflammation of and scarring of the lung tissue. It can progress from a simpler form with minor scarring to a more severe and life-threatening condition called progressive mass fibrosis. Silicosis. This disease arises from inhaling silica dust, a common component of rock encountered during mining, according to the CDC. It can cause more rapid and severe scarring in the lungs and coal dust alone. COPD, dust-related diffuse fibrosis, Kaplan syndrome, a rare condition where pneumoconiosis, silicosis, or asbestos occurs alongside rheumatoid arthritis. So, and good old lung cancer is on here too. Coal mine dust exposure and smoking significantly increases the risk of lung cancer. So, just working in a coal mine caused a lot of health problems for miners. So, like, is the answer to that for the kids to just not work in a coal mine? I can't say. Sensei says silk or jagged edge. You know what? I'm going to take jagged edge, even though silk are better singers. But I'm going to take jagged edge because I think jagged edge had better songs. Not that silk didn't have good ones, because they did. But I would go with jagged edge. I would go with jagged edge. Joe Neal says particulate. No, particulate. Particulate poisoning, basically. Joe Neal says cancer runs in every family, just different outcomes. Yeah. You're right about that, too. TB. No, not tuberculosis. Joe Neal says Trump's bringing back coal. Well, he don't give a fuck about nobody. You see the way Trump talked about the soldiers who came back. They came back from Iraq and Afghanistan. He said they suffer from headaches, totally ignoring they real condition. He said they came back with some headaches. Headaches. Shit is a fucking disgrace. It really is. This shit is a goddamn disgrace. That man as president is a goddamn disgrace. Headaches. You just gonna write it off as headaches. Like, yeah, a few of them came home fucked up. I don't think he understands what war is outside of TV and movies. He don't get it. I don't have no MAGA hat. I don't know if you remember that when I had to wear that MAGA hat. Remember, I cut it up at the end of the show. That shit would never see the light of day again. I lost the bet. I honored the bet. That's that. It's over. So, yeah, avoiding your family related illnesses. So, man, that diabetes shit is crazy. Like I said, that shit will take your eyesight. Take your legs. Heart disease will take your legs too. And the shit is so disgusting because before it takes your legs, because you're not getting proper circulation to your legs, so your legs are essentially dying. And that shit starts smelling. It starts smelling. You get maggots and all of that shit before you lose your legs. That's the part that people don't want to talk about. And I've seen it. Shit smells terrible. Rotting flesh, and you are alive. So basically, you have body parts decomposing while you are still here in this world, on this earth, fully alive. How could you watch somebody in your family go through that and decide that you're going to do the same thing that they did? How does that work? That's what I want to know. How does that work? Because that don't sound like a good choice to me. And it's definitely not a choice that I would promote anybody to make. And people got to live their lives, and they're going to live their lives the way they live their lives. I get it. I 100% understand. I overstand. I get it. I know what you're talking about. But are you going to make that choice for you? Are you going to make that choice for yourself when you clearly have other options? That's the question that we have to ask. Joe Neal says, you work in a Philly hospital? Yes. Yes, I do. And I've only worked at a hospital one time. And by that I mean, like, I never worked in another hospital earlier in life, or like this one over here, that one over there. This is my first hospital gig. It's interesting. But I see people, I walk through the emergency room or the emergency room in that goddamn ICU. Death. Death. Vita, what's good, ma? How you feeling? Good to see me some you. It's always good to see you, ma. Yeah. Working in a hospital made me look at life differently. It really did. I've always valued life, especially mine. But working in a hospital made that increase more. When you see people crying over their loved ones, like I said, that ICU in that emergency room, man, it gets bad. It gets bad and it gets sad. It gets bad and it gets sad. For real. And that's just one hospital. There are plenty of hospitals all over the world. And they see this shit every day. At least I get to come home from the hospital every day. And trust me, I'll be booking it out of there. Like, I'm good. But the thing is, you become desensitized to everything anyway. And that's unfortunate. You become desensitized to people's pain. You become desensitized to their pain and their suffering. And you don't mean to do that. But you realize that you got to deal with that shit every day. It ain't easy. It ain't easy, bro. Not easy at all. But like I said, I get to come home every day, and I count my blessings on a daily basis because of that. That's not a small blessing. It's not a small gift. That's major work. Major work. Joe Neal says, have you seen Clockers? Yeah, it's one of my favorite movies. I love Spike Lee movies, dog. I do. I love Spike Lee movies. Who is this person?
You have a call from.
True.
Who? Who may I say is calling on the Daily Go Getimism show on this late night?
Good morning, evening. This is what you call the Wondom Call.
The Wondom Call. Oh my God.
The Wondom Call.
Ay, ay, ay.
Not the Undom Call, the Wondom Call.
The Wondom Call. What they call him? Hold on.
My new.
Hold on, Troy. We have another. Hold on, Troy. We got another call on the line. Hold on.
You have a call from
Vita.
All right. Troy and Vita, I got y'all both on the line. What's going on? How y'all feeling tonight?
I'm feeling groovy.
How y'all doing?
How you doing, Vita? I'm feeling good. I feel like the Brady Bunch. I'm feeling real groovy.
You feel real groovy?
I feel like Sean Paul. Just give me the light and pass the draw.
Okay, cool.
So how you feeling, son?
I'm feeling like a real man should, man. Every day, all day.
I'm ready to talk, bro.
All right.
Once you give me the lines, I gotta talk, bro.
All right. Well, what we're talking about is trying to avoid family-related illnesses. So we basically talking about your consciousness about your consciousness of trying to avoid like diseases and conditions that have run in your family, those of which have taken your family members up out of here. So,
back in 2020, my mom had the beginning stages of dementia. And, I think it was more of the carelessness of other people that was taking care of it that added to that. But I digress on that because I don't want to elaborate on that. But my father, he's diabetic, and my mom was diabetic, but she wasn't on insulin. But my father was diabetic, and the thing about him is that he fell down the steps. No, he fell outside. He was walking. Because my father, he loved to wear his gaiters. So he goes outside. He slips on the ice. He hit his head on the ground. Now, when you're diabetic, any fall or any cut, you have to go to the hospital for it. Well, my pop didn't go to the hospital when he hit his head. So he was in a house and he was coming down the steps and he fell down the steps. Little did he know he had a blood clot. No, he had a tumor on his brain from hitting his head.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And when they removed it, it was the size of a baseball. And when they removed it, another one formed. And that second one, they couldn't do anything about it because it was on his brain. The bleeding was on his brain. And that's what took him out. So my nerve, every time I'm diabetic, and anything that if I hit myself or if I fall hard enough or anything that happens to anything on me, I'm always going to my doctor appointments or I go to the ER just to check it out, just to be on the safe side. Because I learned from that. And then when I think about my mom and what she went through, sometimes I find myself forgetting things or sometimes you have brain farts and I'll be like, you have brain farts and I'll be like, oh, I just know that's not the beginning. Because see, what happens is I always ask myself, what brings on dementia? And I always, when I ask that and I look at my mom always had worryation.
Worryation?
Huh?
Worryation?
Worryation. She's worried all the damn time. Just worried. Well, even when she was happy, she was always worrying and stressed. She'll be sitting down listening to listening to preachers preach and going to the gospel channel and listening to gospel music, but her mind is always running. And I was like, could that be it? Because I really don't know
what's the cause of dementia? You know, don't nobody know that, because if you know the cause, maybe you can find a way to heal it or to help with it.
Mm.
You know, but at the end of the day, you know, my grandfather, he passed away from cirrhosis of the liver, meaning that he was drinking a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So it's certain things that I've seen, you know, and you know, my father's mother, she passed away from dementia. Well, Alzheimer's. So it's certain things that I see and I learn, you know, that you know, you just sit back and you just have to just assess yourself and have an understanding of certain things that you control, and there's certain things that you can't control. I don't think that unless you're born with diabetes, like you said, you can't say that's something that's hereditary. Because you know, once I was borderline diabetic, therefore I could have controlled that.
Anybody can control diabetes.
Yes.
But the thing is, you got to ask yourself, do you want to be proactive about it, or do you want to be reactive about it?
There you go.
I don't want to have to go to the doctor all the time. I want to be able to avoid the doctor. You know, by the time I got to keep going to the doctor because something is wrong because of something I'm not doing. But if I never look at it that way, then I mean, nobody really wins in the end. You can say the doctor wins because of the money that you're going to spend trying to get your health right, but that's not a real win.
Right.
That's not a real win. So what we're talking about tonight is trying to catch ourselves from being reactive, or letting our reaction be, you know what, I'm not going to do that. I looked up what causes dementia, and I Googled it, and it said dementia is primarily caused by brain cell damage, which can result from various factors, including neurodegenerative diseases, vascular issues, and genetic conditions. While the exact cause is often unknown, abnormal protein buildup in the brain, such as beta amyloid and tau proteins in Alzheimer's, is a common underlying mechanism. Other contributing factors include head injuries, infections, and certain medical conditions like high blood pressure and diabetes. So we have to remember that the brain is not a muscle per se, but because it is a mound of flesh, it will go through many of the things that muscles will go through. Like if your muscles get a lot of oxygen and maybe some protein and things like that, then they tend to perform better. When they lack those things like oxygen and protein, they don't perform as well and they're not as strong. Well, the brain is the same thing. Your flesh is the same way. So when you're not getting enough oxygen to your brain, you can expect to have some real problems, you know, mentally. Coming down the line. You know, one thing that we know that the brain controls all motor functions. So when the brain doesn't get what it needs in order to function properly, then the rest of your body is not going to function on that level either. So it's almost like when we start talking about a degenerative condition, we use it or we lose it. I'm not saying that you're going to get dementia or an aneurysm or whatever because you're not smart or because you don't read enough, but you do have to It comes, a lot of it comes down to your diet. A lot of it comes down to your lifestyle. And, you know, we can reactively blame doctors, nurses, healthcare professionals, insurance companies, and all of that. But each individual's health is up to that individual. And there's it ain't no way around it. It ain't no way around it. You are responsible for your own health. So I remember when I went to the doctor, in 2020, and she kept telling me that my blood pressure was high. And she told me, so the first time she said my blood pressure was high, I was like, well, how high is it? And she was like 150 something, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, all right, yeah, that's high, but that's not dangerously high. You know what I mean? We're not stroke level high. However, I don't want it to get to stroke level high. You know what I mean? So I said, all right, by my next visit, I should have my blood pressure down. And she said, well, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to do the things that will lower my blood pressure naturally. You know, watch the things that I eat, make sure I exercise, blah, 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 blah. She was like, okay. Now, okay. So came back in 30 days. She said my blood pressure was still high. It was lower than it was, but she said it was still high. So I said, that's all right. Okay. I'm gonna have to work a little harder. Maybe do some cardio, because that's not what I was doing. What up, Bryce D? And then the next time she said, no, it was the year that I was about to turn 50. And she said, if your blood pressure is high next time, I'm going to put you on the medicine. And I said to her fat ass, because she was a big joint. I'm like, the fucking nerve. I said, no, let me explain to you how this works. You're not putting me on anything. That's number one. There's nothing you can do to put me on blood pressure medicine. I will handle the situation. Maybe this is taking longer than it should, or whatever. But we're not on your timeline. We're on mine. So you can prescribe anything you want to get your little kickback from the pharmaceutical company, but I'm not filling that prescription. And by that time now, I don't like her no more. You know what I'm saying? It was a black female doctor too, with old fat ass. I was like, what the fuck you think you talking to? I mean, that shit made me mad. I'm like, and I'm thinking to myself, I guess you on a high blood pressure medicine, because you look like you need to be on the treadmill. Oh, fat ass doctor. I ain't never seen no fat doctor before. Well, she was definitely on the thicker side of things. So, yeah, I ain't let her prescribe it for me, and it went the way it went. You know what I'm saying? But shit, you know. But me getting the word up front that about the high blood pressure, then I had to be on notice. You know what I'm saying? Now, if I chose to just get on the medicine, that's one thing. Or if I chose to do nothing about it because I don't think that in the 40s or whatever, or the 40s or 50s is dangerously high, I could rationalize that bullshit. But none of that is gonna serve me well in the future. And if I want to be here in the future, then I got to take care of any kind of problems that may take me out today. So, Vita, what's good? What's on your mind tonight, Mom? What's up with you?
You know, I'm listening to y'all. I'm just listening to y'all talk about it. Yeah, I feel you. All of that. The only thing that was on my mind was when it comes to letting go of family issues, when it comes to health-wise, what I witnessed growing up was addiction. I saw a lot of my family go through addiction when it came to alcohol. And I vowed to myself that I would never be that person. My mom, she went through her own situation with alcohol, and I saw how it affected her. And yeah, so health, yeah, blood pressure and all of that. I got blood pressure. I got blood pressure issues about 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago. And the medicine that they put me on ain't working. I've been checking my shit frequently, like 2-3 times a week, and it ain't working. So I don't know what it is. And I think it's just when you start overthinking and start thinking about other shit that you have to do, it riles up your blood pressure. Like it do. Like I started thinking about shit I gotta do on Saturday. What's today? Thursday? I don't know. So I'm thinking about shit I gotta do 2 days from now. So it riles up my blood pressure. And I worry about certain things and I've got to give me strength with controlling that, things that I cannot control. That does affect our culture a lot, blood pressure issues. My mom was an overweight lady. When she passed when she was 64 in 2013, she didn't have any real underlying issues. The problem convinced her to do a surgery that she didn't really need. That's why you don't put all your eggs in one basket and then be like, okay, they're telling you to do this. Is this really necessary? Like they done told me twice that I need back surgery. No. Y'all not cutting on my back. No. You can send me to physical therapy. You can do all you want to, but you're not cutting on my back because it's not going to fix anything. My problems is not going to fix that. Nope. So, but the main issue I think that when it comes to health-wise is hereditary. Things that are hereditary that you cannot control. And it runs in your family. And I don't know if anyone else has that issue, but I have a few issues of that in my family. So I just let it be what it is going to be. I got a birthday September 4th coming up, and I thank God that I am where I'm at. I'm not broken down, feeling physically, broke down. But there's days where I have my weaknesses.
We all do. We all do.
Day, my kids look at me like I'm never gonna break down, and I think that's almost all our kids. And I keep letting them know, like, listen, like your mama be tired. Like I do be tired, but I make it look easy. It's just not easy when it comes to getting up at, weird hours. The only reason I'm up tonight is because I picked my daughter up tonight from work at 2:30. That's why I'm up. Because I picked her up tonight at 2:30 in the morning, and there's no one else to pick her up. So I'm up. And it takes me a while to get my body to wind down to go to sleep. And then I got to get up and do all that shit over tomorrow. And then they look at me like, oh, mom's super mom. She can do this, she can do that. She can do this, she can do that. She can cook, she can clean, she can drive, she can do all this. Yeah, I can do all of that. But trust and believe I had a life before I had kids. Bet that. I did all that shit before I had kids. So that wear and tear that you put on your body in your earlier years will affect you in your later years, but I don't think we really see it directly right up front. Because for me, when I was in high school, I swear I did all my ripping and running and and smoking and drinking when I was from 15 all the way up to about maybe 20. I did all my smoking and drinking. Then when I hit my 20s to 30s, I was serious about my career, working and all of that, going to school and whatnot. Now that I'm in my 40s, I'm like a little slowing down. So it's like, I could still do some of the things I used to, but do I really want to? I really don't care to. I don't care about it. It don't make it really don't faze me. So it does affect your health. It affects everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. So when I look at you being up as late as you be every night, night after night after night, is the way you make it look easy. I know it ain't all that easy because this is not your 9 to 5. This is not your job. This is not that brings your bread and butter. This is what you enjoy doing. You like doing this, talk to everybody and bringing that real truth and talk to people. So this is something that you enjoy. But after you hang up with us, you get up and you do something different tomorrow. And then you get up and repeat the next day because you do this every day. I just happen to catch you when I can. But I see that and I'm like, damn, how is he being so consistent? You've been consistent for the last at least 2 years that I've been following your channel. I like listen, and I don't know when you sleep, but you better sleep and get your rest. And I know I see you getting it in, but you always have good spirit and everything.
Nah, it's cool because I'm on a different schedule. Like I essentially work at night, so all my life I've worked in the morning time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had one job in 2018 where I worked overnight from 11 to 7:30, 11 p.m. to 7:30 a.m. I didn't know how I was going to do that because I never wanted a job that did that. And
I was on that shift for about 4 years.
Yeah, and I did it, and it wasn't bad once I got used to it, but I only worked there for about a year, a little under a year, as a matter of fact. And it took a while for my body to adjust back to, working in the morning time and all that. I was ready to go to sleep around the nap time that I would take before I went to work. So then I worked morning shift, just like normal people for the rest of the, until 2022. And then I was working overnight again from 2022 to until like October of 2023. And then last year in 2024, my schedule changed from 5 p.m. My work schedule changed from 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. So now I'm used to that. So I get off at 1 o'clock, come home, do this, and then I take my ass to bed. But I'm not up all morning. Soon as I get off of here, by 5 o'clock in the morning basically is my bedtime. You know what I mean? So that gives me a few minutes to be. But if y'all notice, sometimes I falling asleep on this show. Y'all might not have peeped it, but trust me, some people have peeped it. You know what I mean? Like, yo, wake your ass up. You know what I mean? So, but I make sure that I get my sleep. Now
definitely do that for sure.
Yeah. A lot of people can't sleep during the daytime. I can. It wasn't easy.
I've been on that I've been on that schedule before, 11 to 7, and sometimes having to work overtime, and then like going to sleep. When I was a dispatcher, they would call me and be like, "Hey, check on her because she ain't woke up yet." Like, listen, I was asleep. The most I ever slept was 18 hours straight with no interruption.
Oh, damn!
Like my phone was like 18 hours, literally. Like, because I had went on adrenaline rush. Like, when you're on adrenaline rush, you're like going nonstop. And then it's like, and then you sit down. When you sit down, your body shuts all the way down. All the way. Like phone, people, everything. Like, you ain't knowing nowhere, what, where am I at? Like, you wake up thinking it's a whole different day of the week. It's Monday. It's Monday, but you think it's like, what, Saturday? Like that type of shit. So, yeah, I get it. It's different. And I adapted that habit from my mom because my mom was a workaholic. And when she was a workaholic, she was like on this adrenaline thing. I saw her going to school at night, and then she would get up, do what she had to do for me. And I've adapted that in my later years. I'm like, damn, I'm doing exactly what she was doing. But it didn't even really faze me like that. And my kids look at me like, when do you sleep? Like, I just picked her up, and I'm still up. Yeah. And she's like, Mom, you ain't.
Yeah. Hello? You there? I think something is up with her connection or her phone or something.
I know exactly.
Vita. It's like we can hear in the background.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. With your Bluetooth
no,
fell out your ear or something?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh no, my daughter was asking me if she had left her charger outside, and I was like, nah, you ain't left it outside.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but
I said, I just got home.
Okay. Yeah, but that working overnight shit is unhealthy. It's not a good look, but you got to do what you got to do, and to get the money that you want to make. But before we getting close to getting ready to get on the body here, but I want to make sure that we talk about something that a lot of people don't think about as far as running in families and things like that. We might think of obesity running in families and may or may not do anything about it. Most people don't. We might look at mental disease, mental illness. Mental illness runs in families too. And it can be scary when you think about mental illness because just like Troy was saying, and his mom suffered from dementia before she passed or whatever. And you get to thinking about your own mortality when you look at how your parents left this world. You know what I'm saying? Now whether you choose to do anything about it is it's up to the individual. But one condition that's passed down through families that we don't often look at as being passed down through families is depression. Depression actually runs in families. It's serious as shit. Did you know that babies can be born with depression? Literally coming out of the womb already fucked up. Yeah, it's true. And you know how the elders used to always say that when a woman is pregnant, make sure that she gets everything that she wants. Well, maybe they were trying to tell us about the whole depression thing, but maybe they didn't understand it on a clinical level. But yes, women who have suffered from depression deeply have been known to pass those genetic and hormonal traits onto their babies. So like later on, when your child is early in their development and they already on some, you ever see like Lisa from The Simpsons playing the saxophone because she was always playing jazz and the blues and shit. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But it's a real thing. It's a real thing. And we can break that cycle because depression also has a lot to do with your diet. A lot of people don't like to look at it that way, but it's true. there isn't a disease or a condition in this world that does not relate to the things that you put in your mouth and your belly. Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You can, and just like any medicine. Troy, you sleep? He on this motherfucker snoring and shit. Take your ass to bed, motherfucker. Let me get him the fuck up out of it. Hold on.
Wow.
Hey, you over there snoring, nigga. That's what I said. You know what I mean?
Listen, man. I've been up all day. I called in and I'm listening to y'all.
You over here sawing wood.
Time, right?
You know what I mean?
Is it almost 4? It's almost 4,
it's
right?
almost 4.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we on the same time. No.
It's 4 minutes to 4, as a matter of fact. You over here sawing wood.
I'm gonna give you something else. I just came in from celebrating my daughter's 23rd birthday.
All right.
So,
well, that's beautiful.
Yeah, so you can understand why I'm on the phone with you and I'm listening and I was talking. I'm up in alert and I'm listening and I'm like, my body like, you know what? Maybe you should shut it down.
And you were snoring for a second.
Yeah, I mean, I'm here
You thought I was mowing the lawn.
Yeah, I mean, you was definitely.
Should I be concerned? Should I be concerned?
Let me send somebody out for a wellness check.
You wasn't sawing wood. You wasn't sawing wood, but you was definitely cutting the grass. You was cutting. You had the weed whacker out and shit. Over there cutting hedges.
I swear, man, y'all would be a good time if we all got into one room and I swear to God, like just one big damn happy family. I swear we would have a good time.
Man, you ain't ready.
That's one thing about it, man. So one thing about you, man, I always appreciate you. You always come up with a topic that resonates with everybody in the live stream, and I gotta commend you on that on a regular basis, man, because that's one of the hardest things to do. We keep reinventing another topic, you know. So I mean, I commend you on that, good brother.
Hey, it's life. I appreciate that, but we just talk about life. I mean, this is real shit. Listen, man. You know, I mean, when you think about, it's hard to watch your family members or your friends or loved ones or whatever, but especially your family members, because whenever your family members, especially the close ones, mom's, dad's brothers and sisters, when they start passing away, you know, you're gonna start feeling your mortality stronger. Like, hold on, because when you talk about something hitting home, what hits closer to home than that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if you're anything like me, you wonder, like, will I live as long as my parents? Because mine did all right. My dad, 84. My mom is 84 now. She seems like a shoo-in for 85. But, you know, like...
You know, what took me out, son, is that my daughter, I'm celebrating her birthday tonight, and then I done a little karaoke, and then I made a speech to her. And what made me get emotional is because I didn't know that seizures were hereditary.
They can be, yeah.
And I had seizures as a kid. And then my middle son, he had a seizure his first seizure was so bad that I had to give him CPR. And the cop came and snatched him out my hand and rushed him to Children's Hospital. His face was turning purple. That was that one. Wow. Now my daughter Nevaeh, she had a seizure. I took her to summer school. I took both of them to summer school. And she had a seizure that was so bad that it would lasted 12 minutes. And I was in the ambulance getting ready to beat the hell out of the ambulance driver because he was like, well, I don't think she's seizuring anymore. I think she's the fuck still seizuring, bro. And when we got the chop, they rushed into the trauma bay. So, you know, you sit back and you start like, damn, that this situation, my situation has been handed down to my children, and I'm like, thank God that they outgrew it. But it could have really, really, really been traumatic, bro. From
Absolutely.
from me and handed down. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So a lot of people don't understand that certain situations that's handed down through sicknesses, like I think type 1 diabetes is handed down. That's a genetic thing.
Yeah.
Sickle cell, like you said, that's a genetic thing. Autism, that can be handed down.
It can be. Yep. Yep. It
in
absolutely
certain
can be.
situations
That shit
can be handed
crazy.
down. But the part that's created that you can control is the one that you have to control.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And that's the part that I work on. The part that I gotta control. I'm a firm believer of when the man up above is ready to bring me home, that's nothing I can't fight that. Nobody can fight that. And that's if you're deep into your faith and you understand what your faith is about.
Yeah.
But if you're not deep into your faith, then God bless you.
Well, see, here's the thing. When he calls you home, it's time for you to come home. But
Right.
you have control over when he calls you home. We just don't look at it that way. Just because, I mean, each one of us could get called home tonight on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
We could go right out there. It ain't hard to get called home, or should I say, it ain't hard to go home. You know what I mean? But one thing that God did is he put every living thing on this earth to try to preserve its life. When you see a bug or an animal out there in the wild, they don't automatically trust you. They're not going to let you come and harm it. You know what I mean? Or if they think that you're trying to hurt it or kill it, they're not just going to stand there and be like, oh, well, I guess this is just nature taking its course. They run. The thing about human beings is we will see the very thing that has the potential to kill us, and we will do it.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting here thinking, and we got to get on the body here after this, but I'm sitting here thinking, like, if our parents were on drugs, if our parents were on crack or heroin or something like that, we would probably be like, yo, I'm not doing that. Especially if we weren't close to our parents. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or the parent. We would be like, nah, I ain't smoking no coke. Man, I ain't shooting no drugs and no shit like that. But we might watch our mom, have these big ass lavish Sunday dinners full of all of this food that's gonna clog our arteries, raise our blood pressure and all of that shit. And we like, yeah, that's what's up. What's the fucking difference? You know what I mean? What's the difference? At the same, we know that the parent that's on drugs is practicing killing themselves, but we look at the other one like, oh yeah, but she feeding everybody. We doing a good thing. No, we're not. No, we're not. At some point, we have to take a hard look at what's going on. And even if we ate the food and we enjoyed it and all of that, it doesn't mean that we have to do that all the time. All things in moderation. All things in moderation. But if we never accept from the beginning that we need to make some changes or adjust some things or fail to accept everything just because they're coming from somebody who is acceptable to us, we have to sort of separate the wheat from the chaff. You know what I mean? The same way, I don't know if you was listening earlier in the show, Troy, but I was talking about how living a dangerous lifestyle is passed down from generation to generation too.
Right.
So if you know a family where everybody in the family is out there in the streets, either selling drugs or being a thief or selling ass or you know what I mean, taking something that don't belong to them or whatever, that shit gets passed down from generation to generation too. And you have the power to either continue that or to discontinue that and seek a better path for yourself. There's no difference. There's no difference. What's the difference between something like a disease being genetically passed to you that you probably don't find out about until you get a little bit older, and a lifestyle being passed down to you that you saw from the time that you could understand anything.
Right.
You know, we don't have to be with our family. We don't have to take the destructive path or the negative health patterns of our family. We don't have to do that.
One thing my brother taught me, because one thing I said the same thing here. I said, sometimes, when God come to get you, God come to get you. He said, well, sometimes God will come to get you when he come to get you, but sometimes you can push forth that effort by being stupid and not doing the right thing.
He ain't lied to you.
And I always think about that, by not doing the right things. Like, sometimes you have to break the cycle. Sometimes you have to be the main one to break the cycle and start the next movement within your generation.
Yeah.
You got to break them curses. You got to break them.
Yeah.
So I mean, like my son right now, and I know we gotta get ready to go. My son Marquise, he was a little bit on the big side. He started working when he lost 25 pounds during COVID. He said, "You know what, Dad? I'm just gonna keep losing this weight." And I looked at his ass one day and I was like, "Man, fuck you." He lost so much damn weight, he all cut the hell up. I got jealous of him. I said, "Let me start lifting too again, man."
Man, when it comes to the exercise shit, you never meet anybody that doesn't feel better after they start an exercise routine. But for some reason, we always find a way to discontinue the exercise routine out of all the other shit that we do.
Look at your thing you do every night. You get on here, you talk, and you got your drink with you every damn night.
Every night.
Your cleanser is a cleansing drink, and there's everything in there that your body needs that fulfills your body. Every damn day. If you're on the weekend show, or you're on the weekday show, it's always a drink. And you never had no. You might have you can bring some water on there after you drink that, but 9 times out of 10, you drink your drink all the way down to the end, and then you eat the bottom. You eat what's at the bottom of it.
Yeah, everything don't get blended up right.
You understand what I'm saying? So, and when people see you doing that now, I'm sitting up here like, damn, I need to start doing this shit. So I went to Produce Junction, bought my stuff, started. I'm like, I'm gonna start just drinking, doing what I need to do to get to that level. Anything, because at some point in time you have to make some changes, even at 55.
It's especially at 55.
Yeah,
because shit don't just repair the way it used to. Man, I've started running in place. And first I started off just 10 minutes, then 15 minutes. Now I'm up to 25 minutes, damn near half an hour. And even though I stretch and all of that shit beforehand, man, I felt something while I was running in place yesterday. I felt something tear, like like when you fuck up a tendon or a ligament or something, you hear it like, you know what I mean? This shit went crack. I was like, fuck. And and the shit was hurting. I was limping for the rest of the day. I went from running, or should I say jogging, to straight limping. And it feels better now because I didn't try to run on it today, because normally I would just go ahead and fuck it. I might as well just keep on going. I didn't run on it today, but that lets me know, like, yo, I mean, I'm at that age where this shit don't just fall into place. It's harder to lose weight now. I'm the heaviest that I ever been. It don't come down the way it used to. Before, I used to be able to lose weight easily. All I had to do was change what I was doing and whatever. Now I'd be like, You ain't on your time no more. You'll lose weight when the fuck I say so. You got to do way more than you used to do before. Them old tactics ain't working no more. Listen, we got to get up out of here, y'all. I gotta go.
Well, your arms is arming tonight, bro.
Well, that I've never had a problem with. You know what I mean? The gun's always gonna be there. I'm just tired of this. The guns is cool. I'm tired of this keg. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of this cannon right here. Yeah, I mean that's the.
You got no fucking keg. You got maybe a couple, like you got about 4 cans and just maybe a 40 ounce right there. You got no fucking keg. I can show you a keg, bro.
Of course, a rhinoceros is gonna look at an elephant like, yo, you big as shit. And of course, an elephant gonna look at the rhinoceros like, man, you doing it? Look at you. You know what I mean? That little spike on your nose, you looking good, baby. I saw you fuck up a lion. I saw you do it. That's what he get. That's what he get. That's what he get for fucking with you. You doing good. So of course, it's all perspective. It's all perspective. But you know,
you see the shit I go through either.
No, I'm just no.
I hear you.
I wasn't even aiming. I wasn't taking a shot. I'm just saying it's
but see, the point is that son, even if you was taking a shot, this is me and you. This is what we do.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna do that. What I'm saying is it's all perspective. You know what I mean? It's easy to look at somebody as having something or the ability to do something that you want to do or that you want to have, or just as being different. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that they not going through what they going through or feeling how they feeling or even looking the way that they look. It's just that to you, they look a certain kind of way, and to them, you look a certain kind of way. You understand what I mean? So that's no different than if let's say you made $50,000 a year and I made $75,000 a year. You gonna be looking at me like yo, you doing good. You make half of my salary. You make more than half of my salary. You know what I'm saying? You know, it doesn't mean that you're doing bad at 50, and I'm definitely not rich at 75. You know what I mean? But to you of course you would like to have the 75 because you're like, damn, look what I'm doing at 50,000. With another 25, I could bust everything wide open. But if you once you get to 75, you realize like it ain't as sweet as I thought it was. You know what I'm saying? Because remember, the 50 you making is before taxes, and the 75 that I'm making is before taxes. So that shit just add up to an extra hoagie and some cheese fries. We gotta go, man. We gotta go.
Most definitely, bro. We still be talking here for another hour.
Yeah, you already know.
But man, much love, bro.
Much love to you too.
All right,
thanks, Vita. Appreciate you.
Good to hear your voice again, Vita.
You too.
I'll
be back.
I know you will. Okay. Much love, everybody. Peace out.
All right.
Yo, son.
My bad. Yo, we have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious. I see what you wrote, Jason. August 6th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special, because they are special, because they are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They get number one out the box, Charlene Monroe. Happy birthday to you. And also Patricia Bright, Milo, M. Balon, Steph LaFleur, Davis Tarawali, Olu Yemisi, Thomas Felder, and last but not least, my girl from Franklin Learning Center going all the way back to the 1985, 86, and 87, my girl Darnella Nash. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all. And I hope that today finds you all a good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that goes out to each and every person out there born on this glorious, glorious, glorious August 6th, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on and do the damn, the rock out, rock on and do the damn, rock out, rock on and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours. And remember, let me say a little something to my man, Smart Fella. Smart Fella, you's a hell of a dick. You the type of motherfucker that really make me sick. I used to pick motherfuckers up you just like a toothpick and make sure that you feel sick. I'll dot your I's and cross your T's. This ain't the one you want, you don't wanna be. On my shit list, when I get pissed, I take motherfuckers out you like a chef's kiss. Oh, bitch ass nigga, come around here and really think that you figure that you could really get your shine on. I'm mine on my business. Yo, what is this? You try to come on through, yo, that's what you do. But I'ma show you how we really do in my crew. You thought that you was only one listen, but that's just some narrow-minded shit and you still dissing and fishing for a way to be having your own little shine. You smell like a dirty behind. And I ain't talking about that of a baby. I'm talking about the one that been through a lot of shit lately. Yo, whack ass cornball motherfuckers really coming through like a Tommy Tucker sucker. Yo, at the Ruckers trying to play a little ball. Yeah, pocket ball. You ain't getting no pussy. No, ain't with nobody give you none. You can't have a daughter or more or less a son. You gonna have to be barren like a motherfucking chick who can't have kids. Yo, you probably got no dick and you get no pics and ain't nobody picking you. They ain't let you go and stick and come through. Yo, I know how it would be. I mean, I don't know how it would be for you, but not for me. But it's all good. Let's get it understood. Yo, it's all wood. Yo, it's all the same hood. It's all the same smile. It's all the same face. I'll clear you out of this motherfucker. Give me space. Hold on, let me do something for a second. Let me let you know what time it is. Yo, make sure you respect it. I'm connected just like a mobster, and you can see me up in the motherfucking spot with the lobster and the steak, and I take another different take and make sure that you smoke the weed, the wake and bake. Get your ass up and go get a job and stop having your eyes all red looking like a slob. Pants hanging off your ass like you a teenager. You must have came through this motherfucker is in a rage. How shall I end this? I'm going to do something spectacular and stupendous. Tomorrow night, I gotta go to the Eagles game. It's a preseason, but it's still the same. I want to see these cats and see how they move because I need another ring next year because that's my groove. Got season tickets. I'm a season ticket holder. I get crazy, dust the dust off my shoulder. But I'm done because I am the one. So I take off my beads and give motherfuckers what they need. Hopefully nobody has to sweat and bleed or even cry. Tell you the truth, it ain't no lie. I want to thank all of y'all for coming through tonight. And I'll see y'all tomorrow at 2 o'clock, all right? And that's 2 a.m. I see you then, my friend. Peace out. And I'm going to say goodbye to the rest of them. Hit the like button, share the show, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel. Peace.